Are
the
we
guy.
are we are we sure that's his foot? What's up, guys? Welcome back to yet another week of 368 GG Reviews. I'm Holly.
And I'm Narz. Thankfully, I have somewhat retrieved a little bit of my voice. I won't be stressing it out. But we're so happy to be reviewing Ghost of Tsushima, which is a PlayStation 4 exclusive. We played a lot of this. I had lots of ginger tea in the process. I'm super excited to be able to play this game. It was released July 17th. So it's been some time since it's come out.
It's been some time, and I just want to bring this up because Paul also mentioned this in the chat. You guys, yesterday was Nars's birthday, so can we please give her so much love because isn't she amazing? Like, let's all I want to sing like "Happy Birthday" to you or something.
No,
I
it's
won't do
fine.
that.
That'd be really embarrassing.
Shout out to Nars for doing the birthday thing, even though you know
Thank
you
you,
don't do anything
everyone.
for your birthday, but we're gonna make sure that you do something special for your birthday. So you guys probably saw us post. It was Narz's birthday, very important day. So yeah, we are doing Ghost of Tsushima this week. Narz mentioned she's losing her voice a little bit, so we're gonna be mindful of her time. We're gonna try to keep this a shorter show, just because we don't want her to blow her voice out, and we're just gonna increase the gain and hope for the best.
Hopefully, thank God for technology.
Anyway, so this week we are doing Ghost of Tsushima, as Nar said, and I am very, 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 very excited. I've been waiting for this game for like 2 years, and I had a lot of fun playing it this week. I streamed this twice this week, and the first time I streamed this, Nars, I streamed for 5 hours straight, and I didn't even realize that I had streamed for 5 hours. Like, I just blinked, and all of a sudden 5 hours had passed, and I was like, this game just basically absorbed me and then spat me back out hours later, and I had no idea.
Yeah, I found this game kind of like really hard to put down. It's just so breathtakingly beautiful. Like, I know I'm taking right away from Keanu Reeves, but it's absolutely beautiful. I think some of the things that I love the most about it are just like how it just sucks you in and you just feel like you're surrounded by nature. But we'll go into it a lot in details later. But what was your first impression, Holly, when you first kind of like heard that we were doing Ghost of Tsushima this week?
Well, first of all, I was really excited. I think I mentioned this in last episode, but I remember very vividly seeing the trailer for this game when it was announced at E3 2018. And I have been looking forward to this game ever since because I just knew that it was going to be stunning, and they did not disappoint. So this game was produced by Sucker Punch Productions. They also are known for doing the Infamous games. I never personally got into the Infamous franchise myself, but I know a lot of friends that really enjoy it. And I know that there's a lot of work that goes into this game. So clearly it carried over to Ghost of Tsushima because I feel like they really knocked this one out of the park. I was very impressed with what I saw. What were some of your first impressions with it?
I honestly thought it was going to be something like Dark Souls, but kind of more either like horror or something. Obviously, Ghost of Tsushima, you think it's going to be a bit of a horror game. So I was really expecting it to have a lot of Dark Souls, kind of like little like tidbits and mechanics to it. It kind of changes a little bit, which I found completely wonderful and just absolutely like it really played because I was like, I don't want to have to scream. I don't want to be afraid of it again. I don't have to run away from something again. It's just like, and then when you just start kind of like looking at it and then watching the story, it just becomes like a journey. Like, I really do feel like I'm watching a movie or like I'm being transported to like some ephemeral world or something. It was just really like at first I didn't think of it anything else besides, oh, it's just like another Dark Souls game, but it absolutely captivated me after playing it for just like 5 hours when I first started playing, and then like it just kind of like blew from there.
So when I started playing this, I told you 5 hours straight. I was not expecting to go that long. I was expecting to keep it a short stream. I was also a little nervous because this was my first time streaming a game that I had no idea what to expect before going in. I had seen some gameplay prior to streaming and prior to playing the game, but I actually really had no idea what to expect when I started playing. And I was kind of making myself very vulnerable on stream because I was like, oh no, what if this game is actually really hard? And I totally embarrassed myself in front of all these people watching me. And they're like, why can't this girl figure out which way to go? But thankfully, I found this game extremely easy to pick up, and it's very forgiving. They give you a couple of different difficulties to choose from at the beginning, and it's up to you to decide what kind of play style you're going to have when you experience the game. They actually, fun tidbit, they just updated the game a couple of days ago. They added a new difficulty. So they added a harder difficulty than the hard difficulty. And there have been people that have been going back and replaying the game now because they want to test their mettle against this new difficulty. So that's kind of fun. But I will say this, do not feel intimidated by this game. If you're thinking of playing it, give it a chance and don't feel like you might not be able to do it, because I can assure you I am a baby and I did it. So you can too.
But as we look at first impressions of the trailer for Ghost of Tsushima, you can
Mhm,
straight off see right off the bat it follows the story of a samurai. We'll get into details who he is and who he kind of like uh
mhm.
has communications or connections with. But it's kind of like you are a broken samurai after a very devastating blow to not only your fraction but everything you've ever believed, and you're kind of like going on this journey of just finding yourself, but also finding your country and honor along the way. A lot of people probably would say, oh, this looks a lot like For Honor and whatnot. Now, it does have a lot of game mechanics that resembles For Honor, but what For Honor fails, I feel like Ghost of Tsushima does a very good job at coming back from it, adding different elements, obviously different abilities, in addition to a customization for it. Obviously, it's enveloped in a very enriching story, and you really can't see most of it from the actual trailer itself, but you can see how much depth this game has. And, a lot of samurai fans will find this, or at least like movie, I forgot exactly the director, but you pointed it out, Holly, that this game is it resembles very much of a famous creator, movie director, excuse me.
Yes. So one thing that is absolutely very, very cool about this is that it has a nod back to the traditional Akira Kurosawa samurai films. When you're picking your settings at the beginning of the game, you do the usual brightness, audio, this, that, and the other. And then it gives you the option to choose whether you want to play the game normally or if you want to equip Kurosawa mode, which is where the game reflects the black and white old film quality of these Kurosawa samurai films, and it is nothing short of breathtaking. If you are a big samurai fan and you love the old samurai films, this is the perfect mode for you. And I felt like this was such a beautiful inclusion for this game to really add to the authenticity of them calling back to classic samurai film. So I personally chose not to use this because I think that without this, you lose a lot of the beautiful color and graphics that you see when you're playing this game. There are so many breathtaking locations that are rich in color, and I wanted to experience that. And I don't have too much of a connection to classic samurai films, so that wasn't really necessary for me. But I really respect their decision to include this in the game because I feel like this is like the cherry on top of any kind of details they could have added.
Yeah, absolutely. As I and just to give you guys kind of like what that looks like, let's pull up this video. It's just a very quick video about kind of the graphics you will see in Ghost of Tsushima. We're obviously talking how immersive it is. We're talking about the style, but unless you actually physically see what we're talking about, and we're gonna kind of just let this entire video play. It's only about 5 minutes long, but as we talk about it, I think what ends up happening is that you end up falling in love with the graphics and just you forget that you're playing a game. I know, because of lockdown and social distancing, a lot of us cannot go outside. So I found myself exploring outside through this game. It's so visually stimulating. Everything just looks so absolutely beautiful. And even just like from the sounds to the music to the chirping of the birds, it just sounds so natural and real that if you were playing this game with like headphones that were like sound or noise canceling, you would forget where you were. This game is
Mhm.
absolutely breathtaking. And even the sequences when you go into like different things that happen, like fights and stuff like that, or in this case it's a standoff, it doesn't drop in quality. You never see it freeze, you never see it hiccup. It's crazy. What did you think about the graphics and the art style for it as well, Holly?
I was so impressed by the graphics. I think that the art style really does benefit to the storytelling of the game, to the immersion of the game. I feel like graphics are a very crucial thing that I look at, as being that I'm a very visual person, and I was nothing less than stunned by how like much care went into the graphics for this game. One thing that I was very impressed by, and there's actually a lot of conversation around this specifically for this game, is that Ghost of Tsushima actually boasts some very impressive loading times, especially for a game of this quality and caliber. With graphics as intensive as what you just saw, you can see that there's so much work put into, the shading and the highlighting and everything in the world. There's so many moving parts. I experienced practically zero loading times the entire time I've been playing the game. And that is extremely impressive, especially when you consider how intensive this game is on graphics. The fact that Sucker Punch was able to be so strategic about how they loaded in assets and how they allocated certain things to make the transition between cutscenes and gameplay as smooth as possible. It's very impressive because with a game like The Last of Us Part 2, which I would like to compare in graphics quality, obviously, I think that they're their own games and they need to be judged accordingly by themselves. Um, the Last of Us Part 2, I did experience loading times, especially when trying to load the game file. It took forever to get back into the game. But for Ghost of Tsushima, I didn't experience that at all. I feel like I got into the game right away, and I feel like I never had to wait before going to another location on the map. And I felt like I never experienced any skipping, any graphics jumps. Even fast traveling is super quick. So I would love to give some props to Sucker Punch for their ability to have those like practically zero loading times. Very impressive for a game like this.
And I even feel like even between loading times, we're talking like cinematic sequences. So like you'll be playing or fighting someone, and it just so smoothly goes into a cinematic, as it's like smooth as butter. I feel like
Mhm.
it goes into the cinematic, it comes out of the cinematic, you get into a fight, and it does it so well. It uses a lot of director angles and perspectives that are found in
Yes.
production to be
Yes.
able to give you different perspectives of it. Obviously, I don't know what the word is, but when they narrow the screen and they give you a black top and bottom, and then they
Yeah, like
widen
the
it. I don't
cinematic.
know what
Uh-huh.
that style
Yeah.
is, but it's definitely one of those crazy styles. Did you see other like production or just like filming styles that were kind of like very well known in this game?
I would just say that I think that it's very interesting how they made it so seamless between the cutscenes and then the actual gameplay. When you finish a quest line, it'll actually give you like a little page where it'll show you like what the quest title was. The title be washed away, and then it's usually like a zoom in on you and your horse, and it'll be like a little animation of the horse trying to like nudge you and kiss you, and you're like, ah, come on, horse, don't kiss me like that. And then from there, it zooms out a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're in the game again and you can control your character again. It's so seamless and it's so natural that you don't even realize. Like, I actually sat there for a little bit not realizing that I could suddenly control Jin again. Jin is the main character, because I was like, oh, that's right, like I'm not in a cutscene anymore. I had no idea. Like, this is really seamless. So very impressive work.
Yeah, I also wanted to say kind of like obviously like we can talk about the graphics all day long. I feel like that's something that just kind of like goes hand in hand with the game. I
Mhm.
just think it was really interesting how they try to use cinematography tactics to make this game a little bit more engaging. Now, you've seen the actual trailer for the I forget his name again.
Akira Kurosawa.
Akira Kurosawa. You've
Yeah.
seen the trailer for that. Do you think that they've mimicked some of his I guess like tactics when he from his films?
Absolutely, and I think that's something that they kept in the back of their mind when they were producing this game. Because why make a mode like that if they weren't going to pages from his playbook, and make it as authentic of a Kurosawa experience as possible. So I don't think I've ever seen a video game try and emulate the style or art style or cinematography style of a director before. So this, as far as I know, is a first, which is very cool. And maybe it's something we'll be seeing in the future from other games trying to emulate other classic film styles. That would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there are a plethora of characters in this game. I mean, obviously, you see a lot of characters that are copy pasted, kind of just like to create like a village sensibility. But then there's some iconic characters. Some of the people, obviously, Adachi, Clan Furoshi is like one of the heads of a clan, and then you see Yuna, who you tried to save at the very beginning, and then you try to save her brother. So there are iconic characters in the actual series, but again, it's supposed to be kind of like a fluid story where every people come and go in your life, and they're kind of like have that same sort of like nuance as well. What did you think about the pacing of the story? Did you feel like it was rushed? Did you feel like some of the characters were like out of place?
I felt like the story went forward at a very reasonable pace. I felt like they give you so much in the world to explore, and you can do it all in your own time. They never make you feel like you have to do just the main storyline. In fact, they give you so many opportunities to go out and explore the world. This is an open world game, and you can truly tailor your experience to how you see fit. So if you don't want to focus on doing the main tales, you don't have to. You can go off and do mythic tales. You can go off and do side stories. As you go through the game, in the map, you'll notice that most of the continent of the island of Tsushima is like covered in the fog of war. And the more that you do to explore the world and the more that you do to liberate certain areas of the map from Mongols, the easier it is for you to see the rest of the map. And then you're actually clearing the fog of war through your actions. And it's really interesting to see when you're passing by a certain area of the map that perhaps you had previously liberated and before where there was like a Mongolian warlord camp. Now there's people living in the town. You see them cleaning up, rebuilding, living their lives. And it's really cool to see your impact on the island in real time. And so it feels like a very rewarding storytelling experience because it's so immersive and it really does make you feel like you're a part of the story. You're not experiencing the story as a third person. You're experiencing the story from Jin's perspective, and it's extremely immersive. So I really loved the story.
So let's continue on the bandwagon of immersion. Obviously, gameplay mechanics for this are one very unique aspect of it. Do you want to talk to us a little bit more about your kind of experience with the gameplay mechanics? I think we also have a video that shows us a bit of a tutorial of it as well.
Yes. So the one thing that I really appreciate about a game, Zune, I think I have a tutorial video highlighted there under the gameplay mechanics portion of the run of show. One thing that I always admire about a game is if they are able to reasonably make a tutorial feel like it is seamless within the game. So I'm like seamless through the experience instead of making it feel like, okay, here's your tutorial, here's how you do this, here's how you do that. Instead of ham fisting it in, if they find a natural way to do it. If you guys are viewing the gameplay right now, you can actually see that this tutorial comes in the form of a flashback with Jin when he is a young man and he's being taught by his uncle how to use his sword like a real samurai and how to fight like a samurai. And so this is where you learn the basics of combat. The gameplay mechanics are so immersive in this game because the more that you explore the world, the more stances and techniques you will learn, and you will grow in your cache of knowledge of how to like combat enemies. So during this tutorial, this is a short, like, it takes about 5 to 10 minutes depending on how quickly you get the abilities down and you're able to complete them. It's a short introduction to how you'll be fighting enemies in the world. And then beyond that, it becomes really easy and almost thoughtless as you continue forward. Like you're not even thinking about it, you're just breathing and you're trying new abilities and you're adding to your cache of knowledge, and you're just learning new stances every time you fight new warlords, or you're upgrading certain abilities. Suddenly you can use new weapons, and it all becomes very clear, and you became very capable super fast. And before you know it, you're like, oh my god, I know how to do all of these crazy things that before I only knew how to do like a light attack and a strong attack, but now I know how to do everything. So I am so impressed by the tutorial for this game, and I'm also impressed by the depth of the game, like the gameplay mechanics in this game.
I think it's really interesting that as you kill more warlords within obviously the entire universe, you end up learning different stances, different abilities. You can then unlock artifacts as well as you explore the world. Those are going to help you to be able to create really unique items and gear to customize your own personal samurai. So you can grow, you can evolve to be from a broken or wandering samurai to a samurai that is mystical and mysterious or even very warrior like. Like it's really up to you, how do you want to shape Jin? And it means maybe that you might have to explore fox caverns, or you have to battle bears, or you have to kill anything that comes across your path, specifically when it comes to bandits and traders, or being able to help people that are in the environment. There are a lot of times, especially like in Red Dead Redemption 2, where random things will happen, and depending on how you kind of tackle some of these obstacles, it really forms and shapes your character. And I think that's so ingenious because it really allows the character to blossom also as Jin is blossoming. Now we do have some videos to show you guys kind of like the different stances and the different mythic abilities. You've had more experience with this than I have, Holly.
Yes. So I think Suzune, if you see under stances, there's a highlighted video called Switching Between Stances. This actually includes two gameplay mechanics that I want to talk about. At the beginning of this footage, it will show you something called the standoff mechanic, which is that when you approach enemies, you can choose to stand off with them. And this will give you the option of it's like a quick time event with the first enemy, and then as you upgrade this ability, you can do this with up to 3 enemies in a row. And basically, you're holding your weapon and you're waiting to draw it, and you're waiting until the last second, and you'll watch the enemy, and they'll sometimes fake you out, but you have to wait right before they're about to hit you, and you draw your sword and you slice through them entirely. And it is so striking. And you feel like such a badass when you do this because you're just like, "Whoa," and you're just like cutting through huge dudes like they're butter. And I thought that was a really cool mechanic. But it is very dependent on your reflexes. And like I said before, sometimes they'll fake you out. And if you miss, you could end up dropping a ton of health. So you have to be super careful about when you choose to do that. There are different stances that you learn in the game that are best for certain enemies. So your basic stance that you have is your stone stance, and that is good for basically swordsmen and other generic enemies, people like archers, that are not going to give you too much trouble. As you progress through the game, you learn more stances, like the water stance, which is best against enemies that have big shields, and it offers you abilities that are easier to take down, like heavier, like bigger enemies. And so you learn as you go along what the best stances are going to be, and you really do have to be very strategic about how you use these abilities in and stances in game, because it can be very easy for you to get quickly overwhelmed by the enemies as well. This is not a hack and slash game by any means. But
So
hmm.
So, Holly, I guess tell us how then people can use things like mythic abilities to be able to kind of like create a very different play style, and how that can kind of like match with the stances as well.
Yeah, so we also have another video. It's highlighted as the Heavenly Strike battle. So in the world, there are different tales that you can complete. There's the main tale, there's side tales, and then there are mythic tales, which are given to you by musicians who are the traditional storytellers of feudalistic Japan. And so you'll learn about these legends of these samurai and these figures in Japanese history and culture who had these mythic abilities, and then you'll actually engage in combat with some people in the world in order to learn these abilities. And these abilities are only available by completing these mythic quests. Here in this video, you'll see right here, I am learning the mythic ability for Heavenly Strike, which is a very, very cool ability, and it's really great for stunning people. You guys are seeing right now, the duels are quite different from general combat because they're really more like boss battles in a way, because it is a one-to-one combat style, and you have to be very careful because they are obviously a lot more challenging than just challenging enemies in the world. So they're very cool. You can see there's it's very cinematic. Like you see, like there's rain, there's lightning, there's thunder, there's so much happening, and then at the end you get rewarded with this special ability. And this ability can be really useful because as the more mythic abilities that you get, the easier it is for you to bring these out in certain combat situations where you feel like you might be losing the upper hand. You can use it to gain the upper hand again, and you can use it as like a surprise attack and like end up taking down an enemy that might be really difficult.
What would you say is the best strategy to fight against some of these like legendary samurais to get these mythical abilities?
So as you see in that video, I do a lot of dodging. I definitely recommend that when you are leveling up and picking your abilities when you first start out, to purchase the ability that allows you to dodge roll, which is you press the circle button twice and you can dodge in any direction. That has saved my life so many times. This game is all about being very, very careful about which enemies you engage with because they will run up on you very fast. So I would say my best advice to people for fighting these is to just be patient. Don't be afraid to dodge and don't be afraid to kite them around. It's just like a usual boss fight.
Now, similar to other games where you obviously get points and those points can be attributed to different skills and different abilities, how does technique points work in the game Ghost of Tsushima?
So there's also a video about technique point upgrades there, just so you guys can get an idea of what that's like. So the technique points are basically like skill points. You get them just like any other way you would get a skill point in a video game. As you complete quests, as you gain fame in the world for liberating areas and for saving hostages and for killing enemies, you'll get these things called technique points, which you can use then to build your skill trees. And there are different skill trees that you can build in the world. So obviously, there's things like deflection, evasion, those mythic abilities there. Like I said, those are only available through those mythic quests. There's also you can use technique points to level up things for exploration. So as you're going through the world, there are a lot of collectibles and fun things to find in the map. You can find vanity items. You can find fox shrines, which can level up certain abilities for you. You can find certain temples that give you charms that you can use to upgrade your weapons. There's such a wealth of things to find in the area, and you can either choose to use your technique points to upgrade how you find things in the area, or you can use it to upgrade your combat style. And then you have things called ghost weapons and then evolving tactics. So ghost weapons are things that you can use, such as throwables, explosives, and using your bow. And then just other basic combat stuff like increasing the healing that you do whenever you heal yourself. There's also a mechanic in this game called listening, which is very similar to The Last of Us, where you can hear enemies that are around you. It'll show you a little outline. This was very easy for me to pick up, being that we just finished playing The Last of Us just a few weeks ago. So it was like coming home, I was like, oh, yes, I can see enemies through walls again. This is great. So there are so many different ways that you can choose to level your abilities and skills in this game. It's really up to you. They give you so much freedom in how you tailor your gameplay experience.
And obviously they help in any sort of like combat or any challenge or duels. And if you see like you have a problem, do you think that maybe someone should just level up a little bit more to be able to like battle the lord that or the overlord or whatever that they're fighting?
Absolutely. I mean, they give you so many places to go on the map for a reason. You might as well go, not necessarily grind, but they want you to explore and they want you to feel like it's rewarding for you to go out and do all these things. And they give you incentive for it too. They incentivize it by making you get really cool little items. Like, I mean, the mythic quests are not part of the main storyline technically, but if you skip out on them, you're going to skip out on some pretty cool abilities that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. So it's just a cool way to incentivize exploration and keep people from just, tunnel visioning through the main storyline, I guess.
Speaking of abilities, we always see these little things called the Mongol artifact or a singing cricket. Talk to us a little bit about these collectibles and what do they do in your inventory?
So there's a lot of really cool. So one thing that I really loved about this game, so there's a game called Collectibles and Inventory. There's a video called Collectibles and Inventory. So there are Mongol artifacts throughout the world, which you can find usually in Mongolian war camps, and it's a really fun way actually to learn things about Mongolian history and their occupation in feudalistic Japan. They show you really cool parts of Mongolian culture, and you're actually learning things as you go. Like you'll go through and you'll go into a tent, and it'll be like, oh, pick up this artifact. And then you go and you look at it in your collection, and you can see that it'll tell you, like, hey, this was the snack that Mongolians used to eat when they went out to war, or like, this is how they used to decorate their tents, or this is whatever. It's a very interesting way to kind of learn as you go along. And so then there are other things on the map that you can find. There's war banners that you can collect so that you can get special items. There's, correspondences between characters. I didn't read all of it. Here you guys can see these are the Mongolian artifacts, and you can learn about like how they, did certain things. And I personally, I'm kind of a nerd, so I don't mind learning while I play video games. I think that's pretty cool. And then the singing crickets, very cool, because the more you find, you can actually learn songs to play on your flute that can affect how the weather works in the game. So you can literally change the weather using your flute. And then I just think that was like a really cool uh little thing that they added in there too. And then this was just something I took gameplay of because I thought it was really beautiful how they sort your inventory in the game. It's not just lists of things, like it's beautifully organized, and then they give you like the actual asset of the item in the background. I just think that there was so much like beautiful detail put into this game that they didn't have to do it. They could have just made the inventory a list, but they were like, no, we can be better than this. And that's what I really respect.
I think that's so cool because when you think about flutes being able to like change the weather, it reminds me of like the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, where he uses the
Yes.
ocarina to be able to call rain or to go back in time. But another aspect of this game, there's obviously a lot of vanity gear, but in addition, there are the hot springs. Now, talk to us a little bit about what does the hot springs and vanity gear do for the character, because actually there is a function to the hot spring.
There is a function to the hot springs. I know there's a function to the hot springs, but I'm 4 years old, and there's a you guys probably saw it if you saw the promos for this week. This is my most watched clip on Twitch right now. I realize that this is a very serious samurai game about very serious samurai things. But when, god damn it, when you put a butt in front of my face, what am I supposed to do? You know? I learned that the hot springs are very important. I can't even look at this clip seriously. You guys wanted butts, you wanted the tushy, I delivered, okay? The hot springs, don't let this clip fool you. They're a very serious, solemn, not solemn, but they're a very serious part of the game. As you see, you go into the hot springs so that you can reflect on certain things. And when you do, it actually gives you a
Wait, there's more
permanent.
booty.
Oh, there's more booty. Oh man, are we? I don't think we need more booty.
Yeah.
Oh my god, everybody's like, wish y'all could hear her audio from this clip. Oh man. Anyway, uh guys, serious. Let's be serious. It, it we are all very mature adult people having a mature conversation. It gives you a permanent health increase, which is crucial because, the idea is that you're in this hot spring, you're reflecting, you're taking the time to think about serious things in your life. That is a full booty on the screen. There you go. Anyway, it forces you to think about, your relationships with people, or perhaps something you're going through. And the idea, there's a lot about this game that really stresses reflection. So it's like, taking the time out of your day to really meditate on the things that are happening to you and using those things to better yourself as a person. It's like really great work, Sucker Punch. You guys are helping us all grow as adults. This is really good message here.
Thank you so much, Double Stuff, for the subscription. It just makes me wonder if we need to add more booties to our streams because we literally got a sub. Thank you so much for that, Double Stuff.
Well, you guys know what they say, booty sells. So clearly we're doing something right. I guess we're gonna have to
Clearly.
focus on Tushy in the in the oncoming. Oh my god. You guys are too much. You are actually killing me. All right. I can't think straight now because I'm still thinking about that tushy. All right. So so as I mentioned before, we kind of talked about how there are different things in the world that both like they make you focus on reflection. And there is something that I would like to talk about. So like there's a lot of different places that you can discover in the world. There's things like Narz had mentioned. There's fox shrines, which if you see a fox in the world, follow it because it will lead you to a shrine where you can pray and you can learn some really cool things, and you can get some goodies. I think we actually have a video for the
Charm.
fox
Yeah, we do
shrines.
have a
Yeah.
fox shrine. You can be able to so with the fox shrines, they unlock charms. And by wearing charms, you can get like little buffs here and there, not necessarily like great, but they do help in life or death situation when you're literally dying. You need that just like little bit of life or health left. There are the more fox shrines that you find, the more chances you're able to unlock another charm. Now it gets to the point where you need like to find 7 fox shrines to unlock the next one. But it's just actually a really fun experience. You're in nature, obviously, and you're following this little fox. Sometimes though you have to be careful because if you do follow the fox, sometimes the fox takes you to danger. Not in this video, but sometimes you literally are met face to face with bears. So if you ever come
Oh,
to a part that like it doesn't work out, where you like meet, I guess, a fox and it takes you to a bear, you might have to kill the bear to
yeah.
be able to get to the fox shrine. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had my own run in. I felt like a monster because the fox led me to a bear that was being hunted by some Mongolian enemies, and they were fighting it. And I thought I was supposed to help the bear. So I was like fighting the Mongolian guys, but then I accidentally hit the bear with an arrow instead of one of the guys. And then he started attacking me. And I was like, no, no, I wanted to help the bear. Please don't make me kill this bear. I was like, sucker punch, please, God, don't make me kill this bear. And I did. I had to kill the bear, and my hands. This is a very gory game, by the way, guys. My hands were covered to the elbow in bear blood. And then that's when I finally find the fox shrine. You know, he's praying to the fox shrine, everything's good, but he's covered in bear blood. And I'm just sitting there like, I wanted to help the bear. I wanted to help the bear. I didn't want to kill it. So, like Nar said, be careful because you could be led to danger.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think we could be able to show the video, but you guys get what we were talking about. That's totally fine. There are other things that you can find in the world. I believe you found some haiku spots.
Right. So this was actually one of my favorite parts of this game. So I do have a composing haiku video here, so you guys can get an idea of what the haiku
Ooh,
experience
should we hear
is.
the audio too?
The audio is very serene. You probably don't want to hear my voice though. I'm talking over this gameplay, so I'm like, ugh, I'm just talking shit. You probably don't want to hear it. But they kind of give you a very serene music in the background, and then they give you like some options you'll see in the trees, and it's like the idea is you're sitting, you're reflecting, and you're meditating, and you're looking to nature to inspire you to write this haiku. And so at the beginning they'll tell you that what you're supposed to reflect on. They'll be like, reflect on serenity or reflect on death or something, and then you have to write a haiku around that. And so you'll pick from the trees which sentences sound the best, and then at the end it'll read the haiku out to you, which is so beautiful. And then you get a headband for completing it, which is really cool because it gives you like different cosmetic items for doing this. So it's not a necessary thing to do in the world, but it certainly is worth it because you get rewarded with cool stuff. And then I mean, I just think it's cool that this is yet another thing, just like the hot springs, where it makes you stop for a second, focus and reflect, and instead of going crazy hacking and slashing enemies, you're one with nature for a little bit and you're just chilling. Like, I think that's really cool.
I think that's also cool. I have yet to come across a haiku, but I think that's really cool how you can create one just by like looking at a tree or looking at a water, and it's just like bam, haiku. What do you think was the reason why they added that? Is it because of obviously they're trying to take elements from the movie, or was this just something to offer people who are social distancing and probably desperate for some sort of like, I don't know, transcendence or just zen?
While I think that's true, it is actually historically sound that samurai did actually practice the writing of haiku because, again, it's a wonderful exercise in reflecting on things, in finding inner peace, in becoming one with your surroundings. And it was a sort of meditation exercise for them, because it was a good way for them to kind of hone their skills and hone their own inner peace. So I really love that they included this, because I think that this was just another one of those beautiful little additions that they didn't have to have it. It doesn't technically make you win the game just because you've done it, but it's amazing nonetheless, because it feels like a more full game because of it.
Oh man, it just I feel like now I have to go check it out and see what kind of haiku I come up with. But besides being an expansive, an immersive world with tons of resources, what would you say it was probably the most inspiring, or like what about this game is the most innovating or inspiring to you?
Oh, that's kind of a hard question. Oh man. I think the most innovative or inspiring. I mean, like I had mentioned before, there are so many details that they included that just add to the authenticity of the time period. So this clearly takes place during like feudalistic Japan in the time of samurai and all that. But you really do feel like you're in it. They could have been pretty lazy and they didn't have to include all of the authentic details that they did. I just think that there was a lot of care put into it. And I feel like there's a lot that made it feel authentic. The one thing that I will say that makes it not feel so authentic, however, is that they actually did the mocap for this game in English. So this game's native language is technically English, which I find extremely bizarre, because it's a Japanese game. Like, it's a game about feudal Japan, and why would you mocap in English? That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It gives you the option of playing with Japanese dialogue with English subtitles. The only kind of drawback to that is that because all the mocap was done in English, when you're watching cutscenes, it becomes pretty noticeable that the words do not match up. It's kind of like an old Bruce Lee movie where, like, the mouth doesn't match what he's saying. This is not crucial, because I mean, I feel like there aren't enough cutscenes to make this too annoying. Obviously, it's very noticeable when you're in a cutscene, but like, it's really not noticeable when you're out in the game. So I really don't mind it. But that was the one thing that I will say that I was like kind of bummed to see, because I was like, man, you guys should have just be like Yakuza and do all the mocap in Japanese so it makes sense. But it's fine. Other than that, my favorite thing about this game being so innovative and inspiring is the immersion and the authenticity. So that's
All right.
yeah.
I would have to agree 1,000%. Honestly, probably the thing that I love the most about it is the fact that, like, and I do this often, I just let it's actually playing right now. I just let the game play and I'm in the middle of nature and I just hear the nature sounds and it's just so profound, and just like the wind. Like sometimes I feel like I'm in nature and it's just like I think I'm just going crazy because I've been in this apartment for 5 months already, social distancing thanks to lockdown and COVID. So anything that like is of nature, I'm like super desperate for. So this is absolutely was a must for me, and I'm so happy that we got to play this game. And I'm probably literally just gonna keep playing this game nonstop to cope with the pandemic. So I feel like that definitely gives a lot of investment back. I guess that's like kind of like a reinvestment for me, is that like, yes, I'm playing a game, it's super immersive, but it's literally taking me away to a different place that's outside, which is weird because I'm indoors playing it. It's really weird, but like you have to absolutely play the game to feel that kind of euphoria, especially if you live in the city.
Oh, I
Absolutely
agree with
necessary.
you. that
Absolutely necessary.
I'm sorry. I would like to bring up Pixel Hotness has just written us a haiku in the chat. Would you like to read it, Narz?
Okay. So haiku: Ghost of Tsushima, a relaxing hot spring trip. Be aware of butts.
Tragically beautiful. Tragically
I
beautiful.
I feel like I want to give you something for that.
A headband. Obviously, that's what you get for
Let's get you.
haikus.
So Pixel, we're gonna send you a headband for congratulations. It was a beautiful haiku.
We'll
Wait, you're not
get you
supposed to clap for haikus. Wait a minute. No, right? You snap.
or do you snap? I was gonna say,
I
what is
don't
this?
know.
like
I I,
a
I don't
like a
know.
poetry slam? Oh man.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I don't know.
Beautiful. If any of you have any other beautiful haikus, please just let
Please.
them free in the chat.
Also,
uh,
your
your boy
boy.
Savage.
Thank you for the sub.
Thank you. Thank you very much. he's out here supporting everybody. He was on my stream earlier supporting. Like he's good. Y'all should go check him out for real. So Nars, did you find that this game was rewarding?
Yes. 1000%. I feel like I definitely got probably, and you know what the crazy thing is that I didn't expect it to be rewarding. I expected this to
Really?
be another mindless yet I thought this would be another mindless game. Oh, it's gonna be like Dark Souls. Oh, it's just gonna be me fighting shit, whatever. But like the little things of like the fox shrines, the little things like the haikus, running around, like even the little thing of how you pick your horse. Right, because you go to this stable at the
Yes.
very, very beginning. We don't have a video of it, but at the very beginning of this game, you get to pick your horse, and then you get to pick its name. So there's 3 horses at the stable. There's a brown, white, and a black one, and then you can name them. I picked the black one, and I could have named it Trust Honor, but I named him Shadow. And every single time you call it, or like when you start galloping, the character calls out the name in English or in Japanese, depending on what you want. And I feel like those little things really are so rewarding. I know that sounds so like simplistic, but I think now more than ever, where everything is chaotic that's happening outside the world, it's so nice that there's this little bubble called Ghost of Tsushima. Yes, there's killing and pillage and blood and everything happening, but there are these absolutely serene moments of transcendence that literally just like it captivates you, and it just takes you away to a different place. And I feel like there's has to be something about a game designer who has the ability to do something like that using something so simple as a video game. And video games like Ghost of Tsushima are a testimony that video games can augment people's minds. They can take people away. They can alleviate people of depression, can be able to change their mental state to a positive state. They can make them feel serene and vice versa. And I feel like the way that they created and designed this game, Sucker Punch, you did an ingenious. You guys are geniuses. That's what I think. You're absolutely genius. And for none of this to be spoiled before the game is a testimony to like the entire team. I'm losing my voice again. Oh god.
So don't talk too much. Let me take the reins. You're good. I don't want you to hurt your voice any more than you already feel right now. So I definitely feel like this game was rewarding. I do have a video here under the rewarding part of the run of show. It says getting overwhelmed in combat. I definitely want to talk about this because this is a huge reason why I believe that this game is rewarding. I spoke a little bit earlier in the episode about the gameplay mechanics and how I was really impressed with like, you know, how intricate they are and how the more you play, the more intricate your fighting style becomes based on the things that you're learning. So you're going to see in this video here, this is me trying to liberate the Ogawa Dojo, I believe was the location on the map, which was totally occupied by Mongolian warlords. And so here I am. You see me trying to get the stealth kill. I don't quite make it to where they don't see me, and so I decided to just go full on. You'll see right there that little icon above me shows like the people being able to see me, and so I decide, you know, whatever, we'll just go balls to the wall and we'll just alert all of them. This was a really bad idea. This is not something you want to do in the game because it is very easy to get overwhelmed by enemies very quickly. You'll see right here, there's going to be more showing up. There's always more in an area than you think there are. And because there are different fighting styles among the enemies, they're not all just, you know, copy and paste enemies where they all fight exactly the same, which means you can't just hack and slash through all of them. You have to be very strategic about the stances that you're using against the enemies with shields, the enemies with spears, the big guy enemies or the archers. And you have to be very careful. And you see me right here, I'm like sneaking around, but then that guy found me. And then I ended up like kiting all of them around and trying to find like a bigger open area where it was safer to fight them. But as you guys can see, I'm doing a lot of dodging because that was the most effective strategy that I found against fighting a lot of enemies. But clearly, this is not a game that you can just go in guns blazing and expect that everything's going to be cool. And then the dogs show up, which is like the dogs are crazy because you have to dodge them really fast or they'll lock onto you. There's so much that happens at once, and you have to be really careful. And so when you finally get a handle of all of this and you actually complete it, you feel so rewarded because you're like, wow, I was able to figure this out. It doesn't feel like this game spoon feeds you anything. It doesn't feel like it ever just hands things to you. You do have to work very hard for all of the abilities and lessons that you learn in the game or the new techniques that you learn. So they never just hand you anything. You have to like be very careful about it. But once you're like able to actually handle everything, you feel like such a badass samurai because of it. And it makes you feel really cool. Like you see that dodge kill. Like that's what you just have to keep going back and forth. Not the game for somebody who does not have a lot of patience, but the more you do this, the more you start to get used to it. But it's definitely not a game for people that just want to run in and hack and slash. And that's why I feel like it's rewarding because there's a huge level of strategy that goes into the combat.
Yeah, and this game isn't sneaky like The Last of Us, where it demands you to be sneaky. You can
Mhm.
be sneaky in this game, and then you can be able to fight in the game. I think this game really allows the character or the player to mix between being sneaky and parrying. Parrying is going to be a very important component, but then being able to counter with something else after a parry is literally going to make or break your ability to be able to kill the warlords or anybody that comes across your way, or when you're overwhelmed in this specific case with like different types of different npcs with different play styles. It's so important to be versatile in this game, and that's why it's important to get those mythic skills that are available.
Exactly. And so I think we have a video coming up right here where this is actually more of a stealthy approach to taking down these enemies. So at the beginning there, you see that sometimes it actually gives you the opportunity when you approach a camp to stand off. That's that ability that I was talking about earlier, where when you press it, you're calling your attention to every enemy in the area and they can come up to you and you can use that quick time event to like slash through them. Or you can choose to not engage like that and be stealthy about it. That is totally up to you. Like Narz said, doesn't force you to do anything. You literally can do whatever you want. You see me there, I'm using that hearing ability to try and gauge how many enemies are there, and I'm trying to be really strategic about how I'm going to engage in combat with them because I don't want to just go in guns blazing. This all happened before I had like the big abilities, so I was feeling like, I need to be more careful. And you can go up behind people. You can actually drop down on people. If you're like standing above an enemy, it gives you the option to like jump down on them with your knife and just right in the. It is so cool. And then if you don't happen to kill everybody in the area, it gives you the option to challenge remaining enemies. So if you missed anybody, you can literally call out and be like, "Come at me, bro," and they'll show up and they'll like you can finish the fight without like walking around trying to find the one enemy that is possibly like straggling behind that you missed. That's like there's nothing more annoying than that, right? Like when you're like, I missed somebody, where the hell, I still hear the music, where's the enemy? Like they just streamline it for you. They're like, nah, dude, just press the button, come at me, bro, let's go fight right now, doesn't matter.
All right, so I have to ask you, which is your favorite stance so far?
So I really do like the water stance because I love the power attacks that it lets you do. The water stance is best against shield enemies and like really big enemies, and so the triangle button is for the heavy attacks, and so that is what it excels at. And I love doing the heavy attacks because that's how you stun people and stagger them. And when you come down with this big blow that like you make this huge dude like stagger, I think that's really cool. So that's my personal favorite right now.
I haven't explored enough stances to be able to make one, but I would have to agree that water is probably one of my favorite ones. Yeah, you can just knock back people with shields so much easier because you literally sweep them up, and it just makes it easier for you to either parry or to continue the combo.
Exactly. So that's why I felt like, and again, like this is good because it also appeals to people with different play styles. So if you're the kind of person that likes, fighting like that, obviously, it depends on the enemy, but if you can experiment with different play styles and stances and see what works for you. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now we have a bit of a video. It's kind of like showing highlights of other streamers' experiences of kind of like WTF moments. This game is not flawless. There are times where it poses itself as probably still needing some tweaking, but we're gonna show you guys some highlights of just kind of like what the hell moments that some players have been seeing in their gameplay. You guys can check it out now. In this video, you're gonna see this a wonderful streamer. I forgot his name. I think it's Sanja. Oh, not Sanja. I forgot his name. But he literally flies into the air and then literally plummets to his death, which is it's not supposed to be that way. It's just not supposed to happen. But something weird happened where he did an ability where you're supposed to fly up, and he literally went through the trees. This next video is weird. This is funny because it wasn't done on purpose, but this player was able to show his character Jin kind of like standing at an angle, and this has happened a lot. Yeah, it's like
He's like, who are you talking to, girl? Who the fuck you talking to, girl? What did you just say to
And
me?
then his arms get locked up. He's just like, I don't want to go anywhere. I'm staying home.
Oh my god, this is amazing. Oh my god.
It's literally like locked. You can't like, and I think the streamer here, he's like lamenting how this is like probably like the worst thing ever because he can't play this game with the straight face anymore.
Oh my god. This is really, I love stuff like this. Really. This stuff enhances the game for me. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, this sucks." It's like, "No, live a little." This is really really funny stuff.
Yeah,
Um
you have to live a little. We're gonna Zuni's gonna kind of like continue going because there's this part in the video that is actually pretty hilarious. You can keep playing it offline, and I'll let you know. You'll see it very very soon. But I think the interesting about this game, yeah, it's not perfect, but the fact that people can be able to see certain imperfections in such a perfect game adds to the nuance of it just a little bit, and I feel like that's just great because you fall in love with these characters or you fall in love with the game, and then it just like throws you through a loop because you're just like, Jin's foot is all the way up here in a hot spring. What is going on, you know?
oh my god, real, like all the way up like out here.
You're
So,
gonna
oh
see
my
it in
god.
just a minute.
Oh
But
man, please.
have you seen any glitches yet by like for yourself in the game? Or has
Um
everything pretty been smoothly?
Everything has been pretty smooth. The only thing that I could really call a glitch wasn't even really a glitch, and we can play it after this. It was just that some dude was standing, perhaps not where he was supposed to be standing when I was engaged in a standoff. And he wasn't there before, but all of a sudden he just like rubber banded behind me. And then it was like this weird moment where I couldn't see. So we can actually play that after we get to the part of the video that we're looking for here. But otherwise, the game has been pretty smooth for me.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues. I even feel like sometimes it's a little bit too weird that I haven't seen anything else. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Just a little bit back. I see it in the
Oh my god, stop. More booty incoming, by the way.
Oh, guys. Oh, thank you guys, by the way, for all the haikus. Every person that has made a haiku gives all my love and ups. But yes, listen. Look. It's Jin with his foot up.
Are
And the
we
guy.
are we are we sure that's his foot?
Yes. Yeah. If you actually, it's funny. If you go a little bit back, he literally walks into the hot spring with his foot up in the
Are
air.
we sure that's his foot?
I'm pretty sure it's his
Are
foot.
we are we
I'm pretty
are we
sure it's
are we
his foot. You want more proof? Okay, there. Thank you, Zuni. She's gonna zoom
Oh
it in
my
back.
god,
But yeah, he
please
goes
no.
in to like, and the foot kind of like wraps around. It's like, legs don't bend like that, ladies. Holly's gone. I think I broke Holly.
Listen, don't even talk to me unless you're doing this level of yoga, okay? This man said, "Let me get some hot spring meditation and a little yoga." Come on, guys. Let's
I don't know. I don't know. If that's the kind of yoga I want to be.
Oh man, if you're
Being
not that
taught.
level of flexible, are you really a samurai? The answer is no.
You know what? You're right. If you're a samurai, you're not that flexible. You ain't the one and true samurai.
I'm crying. Oh my god. Oh man. And they say that the perfect man doesn't exist. And they say that video games don't appeal to the women's fantasy. Come on. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Look how hot he is. Okay. So, I'm not trying to aggravate your okay.
Oh my
Oh
God.
man. So I think I have a video before we get to the one that Zune has pulled up. That one was the fall damage one. I wanted to, if you scroll up a little bit, there was one that says messed up standoff. It's I'm highlighting it right now. It's under gameplay mechanics. This was what happened when I tried to sneak into this area where I was going to do the Heavenly Strike Mythic battle, and it gave me the option to do a standoff. And I didn't realize that just because it tells you you can stand off, that doesn't mean that you should. And you guys are going to see why. I don't know what happened. There were two dudes. One of them just teleported behind me, and all of a sudden I couldn't see this dude as I was trying, like. You see me get totally wrecked, right? Like he stands so they're crucial. They're literally quick time events. And if you don't hit them at the exact moment, you will
Ooh.
take a lot of damage. And this guy totally fucks me up. And you see
Ooh.
it, I get so mad and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like that was not supposed to happen. Anyway, I just thought that that was like really infuriating. Um that was kind of my only uh that was kind of my only thing that happened to me. I do have some what the fuck moments that I put down on the chat. But those were more just me being stupid than anything else.
Guys, I am loving these haikus that are in chat. Yeah, I can't stop laughing. Oh my
Oh
god, your
man.
boy and Pixel. Have you seen them? Have you read them yet? Do you want to read them
Um,
out loud?
I want to read your boy Ray Savage's one because this one's really speaking to me. Um, I feel like I should put on like a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just got my toes done. My God, they so damn pretty. Check them toes out, girl. Please, please keep these haikus coming.
Crying.
Pixel Hotness wrote us another one. Pixel, you're killing the haiku game today. More hot spring antics. Reflect on creature comforts. Legs and butts only. I am dying
God,
internally. I
I can't, I can't, I can't, I
I
can't,
feel
I
like maybe we should just
can't.
tell everybody to write us haikus every week. This is gonna start a new trend. Oh my god, Narz had to take her headset off. That's how you know it's serious. Oh my god, please. Okay. Can we get a sponsorship for haikus? Like, is that a thing? Like, is that possible? Oh man, you guys have been a really generous chat tonight, let me tell you.
Ooh, ooh.
Wow, these are just beautiful. I feel like maybe we'll do like a special edition where we just read out the haikus and then we'll do like a collection of audiobooks. Um
Of everybody's haikus from every stream. That should be a running thing. Anybody that comes into our stream, we want some haikus. We'll just start like reading them off, like for like an audio book or something.
Exactly, exactly. So
Oh my god.
clearly, this game offers you the ability to be very creative. I want to put a little highlight on the photo mode in the game. I think that I linked in our chat here. It was a Kotaku article about some of the cool photo mode pictures that people captured. So in the game, there's a photo mode where you can actually change what the weather is, change what time of day it is, and then you can choose what particles are falling from the sky. So leaves, cherry blossoms, butterflies, dragonflies, birds, you name it. And then you can actually control like the particle intensity, and you can zoom in and you can get these beautiful angles in game. And these are just like a few of the really beautiful images that were captured by some of the players thus far. I'm sure that there's so many out there. If you guys just Google Ghost of Tsushima photo mode, you'll be able to see just how stunning some of the images really
Oh
are. That
wow.
like, look how beautiful that
That's
is.
beautiful.
They're so striking. They're so creative. I personally had a lot of fun playing with the photo mode. I did not take any images of or video of me from photo mode, unfortunately. But here you can see there's a beautiful like sunset image. So, like I said before, you can change the time of day, or you can change the weather, and you can change like how the sky looks. So, just like this, you can just create this. And like, doesn't that look like a banner for a samurai movie? Like, isn't
It
that
really
so
does.
ah so amazing? So that was a really cool thing.
I feel
That
like with this game you can kind of technically make your own samurai movie, like just like
yeah.
dub it or like something and just like have all the fight scenes and stuff like that and just like probably even do your own voiceover. That would be really interesting. Oh, this is gorgeous.
Look how beautiful that. Oh my god.
And these are done all in game, guys. Like you can go in the game and do this yourself as well.
Mhm. So I was very impressed, to say the least. That I mean, hey, the photo mode for things like The Last of Us Part Two were also really nice, but like, definitely not as in depth as the photo mode for this game. So there's like not a lot of limitations to your
Oh, I
ability to
love this
look at how beautiful
photo.
you can
Oh
like
my gosh.
zoom in, make sure that you get all the lighting right, get your angles. Like, come on. Like, absolutely beautiful. This is all in-game capture too, like no cutscenes, no anything. Like these are in-game graphics, which is so impressive. Like really, really beautiful stuff, guys. I am very impressed with the work that people have done. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I've kind of covered all of the stuff that I really wanted to tell people about. Do you feel like this game is worth the price, Nars, as a AAA game, $60?
Um, I think so. I really do. I think it's also a matter of, due to the circumstances of this world, I think this is definitely something that if you are trying to figure out something to do, especially if you're trying to figure out something to do for a month, I think it's worth it. There's so much opportunity with this. I feel like it can even go beyond just being a game. Like we said, you can create so many photos, and you could do videos with it too. You can make your own samurai story plot, probably even do some YouTube content with it. You can make haikus the entire time, or you can just explore for hours and hours, just literally not even doing the main quest. What about you, Holly?
I believe that this game is a steal at $60. I think that there are so many hours of potential entertainment and content to go through. $60. Yeah, you want anything else? Like you want my firstborn? You can take that too. Like I don't know, like call me crazy. I used to, we talked about this. I used to be a manager at GameStop. I used to be the one trying to sell these games to people, and I used to be the one to try to sell you the game insurance and parents would come in, they'd be like, why is this a $60 game? And it's like, it's a AAA title, ma'am. That's how much they cost now. Like they didn't always cost $60, but that's what they cost now. I feel like I have no problem paying a price for a game, even if it's not really that like living up to expectations, because I do understand like the work that goes into making a game, especially for the devs and knowing that they don't get paid what they deserve. But I feel like for this game, like so much care was put into this game. Like I am just getting flashbacks from Final Fantasy VII, where I was so impressed with all of the details that they included and how much you could tell that everybody working on it really cared. That I'm like, yeah, dude, absolutely. I almost wish that I had bought like the collector's edition, because I ended up really loving this game so much, and I will continue to be streaming this game because my followers really liked it too, and they really enjoyed watching me play and engaging story. And I had people tell me like, "Yeah, I'm hooked," and I'm like, "Oh wow, like this is amazing and engaging." And I feel like there's so much content in this game. I'm like $60, like yeah, why not? Like we've seen games that are definitely not worth their price point, and this is not one of them. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. All right. So, do you think it's time to queue up for the score?
I would say so.
Alrighty. So let's queue up for the score. Do you want to kind of talk to people how the score is determined?
Yeah, so let's do that. So you guys are seeing right now up on the screen our GG rating scale. We score on a 1 to 4 basis. 1 being bad game, don't buy, unplayable, nobody should play this game. 2 would be I wouldn't play this game, but I understand why someone would. 3 would be I would play this game, but I understand why someone wouldn't. And then 4 is good game, everybody should play this game. Great game, must buy. Nothing bad to say about this game. Nars, what is your GG score?
So I have nothing bad to say about this game. I really don't. Like it's flawless in everything that it is. I know a lot of people may not want to play this game. Maybe they're not into samurais, or maybe they're not into like fighting, or maybe they're not even into Dark Souls. This is a lesser version of Dark Souls. You're not going to get that kind of complication unless you actually work at a different difficulty. So if you're like someone that just wants to experience the game, traverse, go on an exploration, go on a journey, you could put this on easy mode, sit back, relax, and really enjoy this game. But if you're looking for a challenge, you can put it on lethal mode and you can knock your socks off, make a haiku for days. Like it's totally fine. So for me, I'm gonna give this game a 4 out of 4.
Well, it looks like we are in agreement, because I would
Yay!
also love to give this game a 4. I would like to be so bold as to say that I believe that this is going to be game of the year. And even if it doesn't win game of the year, which I mean, that's subject to a lot of factors, it is my game of the year. I definitely would have given that to The Last of Us if it didn't make me so miserable emotionally. This game reminded me so much of The Last of Us and everything I loved about The Last of Us 2, but it also was full of a lot of hope and a lot of really beautiful story that didn't make me feel really bummed out. So I think that there's so much beauty and authenticity in this game. They really had their work cut out for them when they chose the subject matter of a samurai game, because it could have been so easy for them to, like, be lazy, flake out on certain details, and just for the sake of making it, people are going to buy it regardless, because who doesn't want to be a samurai? Like, I'm sure they could have let a lot of things slide, but they didn't. They were committed to making the experience beautiful, everything from the fox shrines, the haikus, to customizing your vanity items, and to make yourself look like the samurai you want to be. Like, you can literally pick from so many different items to, like, make yourself look cool. All of these style techniques, the mythic legends where you can, like, learn these cool abilities. There's so much that, like, I want to say that makes this game so worth it. I think that this game is 100% game of the year material, and I don't have anything bad to say about it. So I am also going to give it a 4.
And it has butts.
And it has butts, guys. Come on. Vote for the Tushy. Come on. I feel like, so here's what I think. I think that this is my prediction for Game of the Year 2020, right? Cyberpunk keeps getting pushed back. In the event that Cyberpunk doesn't get pushed back so indefinitely that it actually makes it into the 2020 Game Awards, I feel like that might be the only contender for Game of the Year against this game. And I have a bad feeling that some people might actually take Cyberpunk over Ghost of Tsushima just because of the aesthetics and how cool it's going to look. I actually really do have my doubts about Cyberpunk, because what we've seen of that game so far, I don't know how I'm going to feel. And I cannot wait to do the episode on Cyberpunk, because I do have a lot of thoughts about that one. And I feel like that's really the only game that might be standing in the way of Ghost of Tsushima and Game of the Year. And I'm worried that some people might just give Cyberpunk the clout just because they got Keanu Reeves. To that I say, fuck Cyberpunk. Keanu Reeves should have done Ghost of Tsushima instead. Can you guys imagine Keanu Reeves in Ghost of Tsushima as, like, the legendary samurai in one of these, like, mythic tales? Like, that would have been so cool. Or, like, one dude, man, come on, guys, why couldn't you get Keanu Reeves? Like, you guys could have
Just
had it
don't
in the
make him like Tom
bag.
Cruise, samurai.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no, actually, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. But I'm just saying, you could have shoehorned Keanu in somewhere, even if it was just for a little bit. Come on. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that. I definitely think that this game has Game of the Year potential. This is an absolutely beyond stunning game, and I recommend this to everybody. People have actually been asking me this week, and I've been trying to figure out, like, a diplomatic way of answering without giving away my score. And I'm saying, like, I really do recommend it to everybody to play this game if you get the opportunity to, because it needs to be experienced. Everybody should buy this game. Everybody should play this game. Play this game. So Crow said the merch should be a calendar of Jin. I agree. Jin should do a little pinup calendar, pinup
Oh
samurai.
my god. Just like every calendar is like a different angle of the butt. Just like
Yeah. Look, in the hot springs, writing a sexy haiku where he's got, like, his samurai, it's just, like, falling off the shoulder a little bit, and he's just like, "Oh, you caught me in the middle of writing a haiku. Oops."
You know what, Holly? I'm gonna challenge you. As you progress in the game, use the photo mode to take some more butt pictures.
Okay. I accept this challenge. I accept this challenge, and then you guys can find the rest on I guess Jin's OnlyFans. Oh my god. Wow. All right.
Well
Well,
then.
so we seem to have exhausted the whole conversation, butts included. Someone said that the butt calendar is a damn untapped market. I agree. I
I
think
agree.
this could be a potential business.
We'll see how it flourishes on our streams later in the summer.
Now that we know what you guys are responding well to, we'll be sure to include
We'll be
more
sure to
butt
just
with
make sure
our-
to follow our socials. Not 368 show socials because I don't think we could show that, but
Well, we did. Paul let us show the butt
okay, well
earlier,
then
so
be on the lookout. Now guys, oh my god, excuse me. Guys, what to prepare for next week's GG reviews? Do you want to let them know, Holly?
yeah, so next week we are going to be covering Paper Mario: The Origami King, which is very exciting because I've seen a lot of gameplay so far, and that looks super cute. So I'm excited to play this game. I think we have a trailer that we're going to be reacting to just to get us ready for next week's episode. Nars, have you seen anything of this game so far?
I have not seen anything. I'm so excited.
It looks really cute. I didn't play the previous Paper Mario, so this is going to be a new one for me.
All right, so let's take a look.
I need more excuses to play my Switch. I haven't touched my Switch in some time, but for Animal Crossing. So, oh, look at how cute Peach is.
Oh, this is cute. So I played the original Paper Mario.
Mhm.
It looks a little, obviously it's a lot like this. The whole idea is that everybody is paper, but I do like how they have obviously added origami to it, which is a form of paper. So I think that's really creative. You know, origami is 3D where paper is 2D, and I wonder how that kind of mix is going to happen. I'm like, this is great. I'm really excited for this.
It looks like it's already getting pretty stellar reviews, so that's pretty cool. I was actually watching a friend of mine stream this earlier, and it looked very fun. So I'm excited to get started on this. Maybe, and I'll obviously be streaming it on my Twitch. But we're gonna kind of focus on Ghost of Tsushima here on out. You guys have heard it here already. You already know that this is gonna become a Ghost of Tsushima channel. That's fine. So yeah, stick around for next week's episode of 368 GG Reviews, which we will be covering Paper Mario: The Origami King. We are 368 GG Reviews. We are a review show every Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to see what we have to say about Paper Mario next week, same time, same place, right here, twitch.tv/368. Nars, why don't you go ahead and let them know where they can find you on social media?
Very easy. You can find me at Narz on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Narz with 4Zs on Twitch. You can see me stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. For more information, just check out my socials. Thank you.
Okay, and if you want to go ahead and follow me on social media, I am at HollyPeppermint on Twitter and on Instagram. And then on Twitch, I am twitch.tv/HollyPeppermint. I have been streaming a lot of Ghost of Tsushima. I will continue to stream Ghost of Tsushima and not apologize for it. And you can you can look forward to some Paper Mario streams just to get ready for next week. That's what I do every week. I stream in order to get ready for the next week's episode of GG. If you guys want to follow us on any kind of social media, as in 368, we are 368 at Twitter and Instagram, and then twitch.tv/368NYC, or just look up top at your URL bar because that's where you are right now. We also do a weekly show on Thursdays called Super Late at 368, which is This Week in Gaming Culture, and it's a fun little late night show. We're actually changing the time, so we're going to be a true late night show, so it's going to be pretty exciting. So that is I don't know if I can really talk about it or what the new time would be, but you guys can keep an eye out on our socials for all the details on the new time for the episode. I have just confirmed it here, 10 p.m. Thursday nights Eastern Standard Time, and that one is hosted by Gabe and Bijan. Tomorrow night we have Slasher Rod Breslaw in the house, leading esports analyst and the king of esports anything. And looks like Devin Nash as well. So that is going to be a very exciting episode. So you guys can keep it right here. You guys can just leave the stream on until tomorrow. If you guys keep this page open until tomorrow, you can literally just have it ready for what Super Late airs tomorrow. So I would just do that. Anyway, guys, this has been 368 GG Reviews. I am Holly.
And I'm Nars. Oh my god. I think my voice came out.
She's slowly being possessed by the ghost of Tsushima right now.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week. And as always, GG. Love you.
GG. Who we hosting?
Oh, who are we hosting?
Who do you want to host?
I don't know. We'll leave that up to Zuni, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Zuni's choice, Steeler's choice. We can host somebody
Steeler's
after this.
choice.
All right. Thanks, guys. GG.